Hello, and welcome to Writer Rant, author advice in 5 minutes or less, because I have to get back to writing and so do you. So this week I'd like to talk a little bit about one of the fundamental parts of a story, and that is the title. Most stories are going to have a title. You know, it's pretty hard to sell something that's just untitled or some generic whatever. And so in order to grab your audience, even before they open the book, your title is a key part of that. In conjunction with your cover and kind of the genre you're in, you know, those kind of things will help attract readers who will then kind of have an understanding of what to expect. And so with a title, you need to condense down the entirety of your book down to a single phrase, if not even a single word. And sometimes, yeah, you can see these really long titles, and sometimes it depends on what the book's about. I mean, heck, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, I mean, that's a mouthful right there. I can barely get through it. And, you know, it's a lot of words for a title, but it kind of gives you a sense of what it's about. It's like, okay, here's a character, and there's potentially another character, a conflict, prison, you know, that kind of stuff. And so it kind of gives your reader something to expect. And so what it really comes down to is the idea of a Chekhov's gun. So essentially, it needs to relate to the story in some way that you essentially get the aha moment of when you're reading it, now I know why it's titled that. You know, a lot of movies are like that, where it's like they'll say the phrase or they'll say the word that is what the movie's about, and so it's like, I know what it's about. And so your title, you got to do that in books too. You got to really have an idea of, okay, what is, even past the elevator pitch, what is the quintessential phrase that describes your book? And it kind of helps too if your book is genre based. So if you have a fantasy book or sci-fi, you know, a lot of those have certain keywords that really kind of sell the book just based on, you know, what the title is. Because it's like, okay, you have words in sci-fi like, you know, interstellar, or you have, you know, a protocol, or, you know, space, or just, you know, kind of keywords in there. In fantasy, you've got, you know, adventure, and you got, you know, other fantastical elements. You know, those kind of things are really going to grab your reader. Now, granted, you don't want to give everything away, but you at least want to give them an idea of what is it about. Because if they know what it's about from the start, then a lot of people will pick it up. I mean, there's been a number of books that I've read over the last year, and I'm like, okay, hey, that title looks interesting, you know, this cover looks interesting, and I get into it, and I'm like, well, what is this? This isn't anything that I thought. And, you know, to my credit, I finished the book, even if it was quite a bit of work. And so, you know, that's the real keys. Okay, you got a good cover that just grabs the interest, and then you got a good title that kind of gets people like, oh, what could this be about? You know, I've got books coming out in the next couple of years, you know, what's this constellation tournament? You know, what's this frozen planet? Or those kind of things that would kind of pique people's interest to say, oh, I kind of have an idea of what that's about, but I got to pick up the book and I got to read it in order to find out. And so, just going back to the Chekhov's gun, it's like if you say, this is what it's about, you got to deliver in what you're writing. So really be careful not to send any mixed signals, because otherwise you might end up getting some bad reviews just based on what people's expectations are. And expectation is 90% of the game. So, what are some books that you've read that had titles that didn't really match, or had titles that really nailed it? Drop it down in the comments below, and you know, if there's anything else that you've read recently that kind of bugs you, or you know, you want to rant about, by all means, drop a comment below, and maybe I'll get to it in a future episode. So thanks for watching this week's Writer Rant. I'm Benjamin M. Weilert.